On December 14th, 1972, Apollo 17, the last mission to the moon, leaves its surface.
But what made this mission so different from other Apollo missions? And who was the last person to walk on the moon?
Eugene Cernan served as the mission commander. He and Harrison Schmitt walked on the surface of the moon, while Ronald Evans piloted the command module that was orbiting the moon. Schmitt was unique as an Apollo astronaut. He was part of NASA's Astronaut Group 4, which was made up of men with scientific backgrounds. Most previous NASA astronauts were test pilots with engineering degrees. Schmitt was a geologist, bringing unique expertise to Apollo 17. He was the only Group 4 astronaut to go to the moon, although others participated in post-Apollo missions. He was originally slated for either Apollo 18 or 19, but when the later missions were canceled, NASA bumped him up to Apollo 17. Joe Engle was the one originally scheduled for the mission, but he was replaced by Schmitt. NASA wanted, in its last lunar mission, to get a geologist's first-hand perspective. This must have been devastating for Engle, who never made it to the moon. Engle did, however, fly on the second space shuttle mission in 1981. Apollo 17's lunar module was on the surface of the moon for 75 hours, with the crew spending nearly 22 of those hours outside of the lander. For reference, Apollo 11 was on the moon for just 21.5 hours, with just 2.5 hours outside the lander. The lunar rover in Apollo 17 traveled 4.7 miles, a greater distance from the spacecraft than any previous mission. Interestingly, in 2011, the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter took photos of the Apollo 17 landing site that showed tracks from that lunar rover. Schmitt's inclusion in the mission proved to be pivotal, as he discovered orange rocks on the moon left over from an ancient volcanic eruption. The mission also collected more rocks, 250 pounds of them, than any other Apollo mission. Mission Commander Eugene Cernan has the distinction of being the last man on the moon. Here are other events that happened today in history. In 1799, nearly 3 years after retiring from public life, George Washington dies of illness at age 67. In 1900, Max Planck publishes a groundbreaking study that introduces the theory of quantum physics. In 1909, workers placed the last of the 3.2 million bricks that pave Indianapolis Motor Speedway. In 1911, Norwegian explorer Roald Amundsen becomes the first person to reach the South Pole. In 2012, 20 first graders and 6 adults are killed by a gunman at Sandy Hook Elementary in Connecticut. In 2015, The Force Awakens, the first Star Wars film released in 10 years, premieres in Los Angeles. In 2021, Las Vegas's International Airport is renamed for U.S. Senator Harry Reid, who dies 2 weeks later.
And now it's time for our Today in History quiz.
Where was Holocaust organizer Adolf Eichmann captured before standing trial in Israel? Argentina, Brazil, Chile, or Uruguay?
Liked learning about Apollo 17? Then you'll enjoy this one about the tragedy of Apollo 1. Tap the screen to keep the story going on Today in History.